Evening. It's so nice to have you join me tonight for the last week of us working with Peaceful Evergreens. So, that's where we are going to be focusing on fun folds. So I have 2 fun folds for you tonight, which will be a lot of fun for us to do with this set. So again, just as a reminder, we're using both the Peaceful Evergreens and the Peaceful Season stamp sets tonight. I am using a paper pumpkin stamp tonight just because I was using it to make some paper pumpkin cards for one of my kids, and I just loved the font of the Merry Christmas, so we're going to be using that too. Okay, let me put these aside. And let me review what we've done so far this month so we can see where we've been, and then we'll see where we're going tonight. Let me just get these dimensionals out of the way. So week 1, we made these 3 cards. Hi, Bonnie. Using our sets. So those were week 1. And week 2, we did create a fun fold on week 2 that looked like this, just a really simple gatefold card. But we made these 3 cards, and then last week we started with a birthday card, and then we made 2 Christmas cards. So those are the 9 cards we've made so far, and I've got 2 more tonight to add to our group. So let me get these out of the way. As I said, we're making 2 fun folds tonight, and both fun folds have some similarities to them that I'll show you as we go along. So our first card we're going to make, both cards, the biggest similarity they have is that both cards have a lot of little parts. So this is the first card we're going to make tonight. It is a surprise fun fold. So when you open up the top, you have another fold on the inside. So you get a little bit of a surprise, and you get a lot of this beautiful designer series paper, which really makes it just so beautiful. So let me set that, is that you just need a piece of paper that measures 4 1/4 by 11 inches, and I've scored it right in the middle. And then what I'm going to do to create the front of the card is I'm going to just take and cut off 2 3/4, which is half of 5 1/2. Oops, let's get to 2 3/4, not 2 1/2. And I'm not going to throw this piece away because we are going to use it for the front of the card. Hi, Joyce. Thank you. So I'm going to just take my bone folder, and I am going to just burnish that edge. All right. So this is going to be a card that's going to go up and down like that. So the other pieces that we're going to need, we're going to be using 2 of the colors of the designer series paper. All right, so we are going to need a piece that measures 5 1/4 by 4 inches, and I'm just going to take this and put it right inside the card right now. So it's going to go right in on this back panel. And then we're going to need 2 pieces of the same paper that measure 3 inches by 4 inches. And notice that I'm going to use both sides of it. So one of them will have the gold foil on it, one of them I'm going to be stamping on. So let me just set that aside. Then we're going to need some basic beige cardstock. And I have 1 piece that measures 2 1/2 by, looks like 4 inches. 2 1/2 by 4 inches. That's going to go on the front of our card. And then I have a piece that measures 3 1/4 inches by 8 1/2 inches. And this is going to be, I scored it just at 4 1/4 inches. So this is going to be the inside card, But the thing you just have to remember is that it's going to open down instead of the other way. So I'll put that aside. And then I just have a scrap of, I believe, a ½ inch, ½ inch wide piece of the Designer Series paper. Not the gold side, but the other side that we're going to do some stamping on. And then for the rest of the card, we are going to need 3 pieces that measure 2.5 by 3 of those. And then we're going to need a piece that measures a ½ inch wide. And then another piece that's going to measure, I believe it's 3/8 of an inch wide. So that's what we're going to need. So let's actually get some stamping done. Let's do that first. All right, I am going to need my old olive ink pad for this one. So I'm going to start with Joy and Love. Yes, Joy and Love to You. This is going to be stamped on this piece of the Basic Beige Designer Series paper. I'm going to just stamp it right in the middle. I am going to be trimming it off. But there we go. So that is stamped. Then I'm going to be stamping my trees on the front. And I'm just going to take a scrap piece of paper. I had my shopping list of what I needed today. And I'm going to stamp my tree on the front. And so I'm going to do it sideways again. So I'm going to be stamping this in the middle. Going to lift it up, and then I'm going to be stamping another one, and then I want another light one too, so I'm going to stamp that off and then stamp again. So there's the front all stamped. Then I'm going to do some, oh, wait a second, I took the wrong one. I'm going to have to cut another piece. That's not what I wanted to do. That was supposed to be on the inside. That is what's supposed to be right here. This is the piece I wanted to stamp on. So I will just cut another piece of that. I've got, I think I have another piece right here. That is 3 by 4, yes. So I'll use that for another card. I will stamp on that in just a minute. And let's stamp on this piece. Sorry for that mistake. I'm just so excited about stamping everything. So let's go back to my tree, and I'm going to stamp it on the right piece of paper. So again, I'm going to stamp it right in the middle. Stamp one off, and then I'm going to stamp the other one off. There we go. That's what the front of the card is supposed to look like. Okay, we'll put that down. Now we'll get this one out, and we will stamp what should be on the front. So I'm going to start with, we're going to be stamping on the inside of one piece with these little tiny trees. So I'm going to stamp and then stamp again to get a little bunch there. And then I am going to use the greeting that says, "Friends and family are the true gift of Christmas." And I'm going to stamp that right in the middle. There we go. Okay, let's put that aside. And now I need my large piece here. And this is where the little trees are going to get stamped. So I'm going to grab those little trees again. And I'm going to stamp them There we go. So we've got a little forest going. Now, the inside of this is going to get this piece. Let me just get it ready. And so let me get that out of the way. And that's going to go here on the bottom piece. I'm going to stamp on the top Love from Our Home to Yours. Make sure it's straight. And that's just going to go here right in the middle. And then this piece is going to go on the front. Now here's the decision I have to make tonight, and you can help me, those of you who are watching live. On this one, I put a piece of designer series paper across the top of this inside piece, and I'm not sure I like it. So here's what it's going to look like without that piece. And I'll hold them side by side, and you can let me know which do you prefer, having the piece going across the top or just having it with the stamped images. So that's what they look like side by side. So if you want to tell me in the comments if you like having the strip across the top, or if you would prefer to not have the strip going across the top. So I'm going to leave that aside while we work on the rest of the card. Let's move out our scrap paper. So this piece is going to go onto the piece we cut off the front of the card. We don't need this, so I'm going to put that aside. And now let's put the rest of this card together. I'm going to put some of the designer series paper on the back side. So I'm going to start with the front first. I'm going to, okay, Joyce says just stamped, and hi Lynn. So I'm going to put this piece on the front. It doesn't have as much gold, and that is what I particularly picked it for, to not overwhelm the gold on the front, because we're going to overwhelm it on the inside, sort of. Okay, and I'm going to put a piece of gold at the top here of the golden cliff. Okay, and on the back of this, so this is going to go like this, I'm going to put a piece of the designer series paper so that when we open it up, we'll be able to see that coming through. All right, so first thing first. So I'm going to keep it just like this with just the stamping. And what I want to do is center this onto the base of the card. So I'm going to add a little extra adhesive to the backing, just because this is going to be opened back and forth a lot. So, oh, the dance was fun. Lynn, thanks for asking. I ended up running the popcorn machine all night. And boy, I just couldn't keep enough popcorn made. It was just amazing. The other thing I like about this is that when you put this on the front, you're going to get like a triple backing. So yeah, I think, truly, until you've chaperoned a middle school dance, you truly haven't lived. They are just so much fun. But on the other hand, too, this group actually danced, and that doesn't always happen at a dance. So that was actually really nice to see them out dancing and having a fun time. Our principal always DJs, and the kids just love that. So, you know, that works out really well. Okay, so I am going to, so everything is put together now. So we have all these pieces. I put it on upside down. Oh my goodness. Well, we're opening this one this way because I put this on the front way. It still works out opened this way. So you can do it, as you can see, both ways. And we still have the piece on the top. Yeah, I put too much adhesive down. I don't want to change it, and I'd have to change all of that. So it's fine. So I'm going to take my little strip here, and I'm going to cut a piece off at an angle. And then I'm going to just put this piece right down here so I get it at the same angle. I'm just going to use it as a template. So there we go. We have our little greeting. And I am going to take this smaller piece and I am just going to put it on the back of this. Have the gold stick out a little bit. Let me just make sure it's even. It's a little off center. There we go. And I'm going to just cut a little bit of an edge off on both sides. So we just have some of that green and the gold showing, and this is going to go right here on the front. So as you can see, this card is kind of versatile. You can put the inside either way, and it's still going to look great. So I'll show you both in just a moment. Let me just get these on where I want them. And I took an extra one. And we'll just put this right on the front. And as you can see, we have one that opens up top and then bottom, and the other one opens up, but it's top to top. So that is our card for tonight, the first one. We'll put this aside. And our second card is just going to be a shimmery, beautiful card because we're going to use some gold foil with it. So this card is just going to be a Z-fold, but you can see the card is really very similar in shape to the front one, to the first one, but then it's going to open up and look like this on the inside. So we just have a little space to do our writing and greeting, and then we'll have all of this on the front, and I'm just adding a lot of glam to it. All right, so this card, we need another piece that's 4 1/4 by 11. And I scored it right down the middle at 5 1/2. And instead of cutting the card at 2 3/4, I scored it at 2 3/4 so I could fold it back. Basic Z fold, but this one just has a little twist and it's on its side. So first of all, let's get all of our papers. So I need a scrap of white that is 1/2 inch by 2 5/8 of an inch. I need a 1/2 inch scrap of the Designer Series paper. And then I need some, I'm using the brushed gold. It's 2 1/2 by 4. And then this piece is 2 1/4 by 3 3/4. And so I need 2 of those. And so I have the 2 right here. I need a piece of white paper that measures 3 1/2 by 2 1/2. We'll be doing stamping on that. And then I have a piece of gold that measures 3 3/4 by 2 3/4 that this is going to go on. And then I have a larger piece of gold that measures 3 by 4, and then a smaller piece that measures 2 3/4 by 3 3/4. Okay, so let's just put this all together. I'm going to use that scrap piece again, and this time I'm going to be using Garden Green ink. And I am using the smaller tree. Whoops, grab some cords there. So I'm just going to be stamping on and off. Just to give a really beautiful background there. I'm going to take the paper here, and I am going to be stamping way over on the left. Like that. And then I'm going to stamp my greeting, thinking of you with warm feelings and a wish for all the merriest. And that's just going to go right up here. There we go. Then I'm going to take my bigger piece. Let me just get this out of the way. And then this is going to go on that large piece of white. Before I put it into the card, I want to make sure it lines up the way it should. There we go. And this will go in the inside of the card. All right, now these pieces are going to go on the front and inside panels. Fun folds don't have to be difficult to make. And so this one's going to go here. And then this other one's going to go on the front. And that is so crooked. Let's just fix that. And then this will go on the front. Oops, we ran out. Let's grab another one. Our stamped image, which is over here, is going on this. But we don't want on super crooked. There we go. And when we put this on the front, it's going to be centered right on the card. So I'm just going to make sure I'm putting my adhesive only in that area. So again, I'm going to center it. Then on my piece of, let me find my stamp I'm looking for, the Merry Christmas. Again, this is from one of last year's Paper Pumpkin stamps, and I just loved the font so much. So that's why I'm using it. There we go. I'm going to attach this. They're the same width. So I'm just attaching one over the other. Isn't that just like the perfect Christmas font? I just really like that. That's why I decided to use it tonight, since I was using it earlier today. I'm getting ready for Plaid Friday at the studio, where we're going to have some different stocking stuffers and things like that on sale. The ability, if you want to make some cards, I think it's a single price for each card that you want to make. So a lot of fun on Friday. If you're in Keene, come and join us. All right, so then this is going to go right on in the center here. And our second card and last card of the evening is all set. So let's look at these two cards again. That's what we've made tonight, and it's our last week of the peaceful Evergreen Simply Stamping Sunday. So next Sunday, we'll have a new stamp set, and I hope you're able to join me, and I hope you enjoyed tonight's cards, and I will see you next week. Have a great week, everyone, and a wonderful Thanksgiving. Good night. Bye-bye.